Hello, this is Mamta Patania. Welcome to the session on Administrative System and Reforms in India, Nature of Public Administration. This session on Indian administration system and reforms would primarily talk about the evolution of Indian administrative system, the constitutional framework, union, state and district administration plus the local administration, 5 decades of administrative reforms in India and specifically the Second Administrative Reforms Commission. The public administrative system in India has a long history. Kingdoms existed in India several hundred years before Christ. In the earlier era, the civil servants performed the role of servants of the king. Kautilya's Arthashastra describes the civil service of those days and lays down various norms 300 before Christ to 1000 AD. During the medieval period, they became state servants. The land revenue system was established during the Mughal period. The East India Company had a civil service to carry out their commercial functions. During the British rule, they started as servants to the crown, but gradually they started becoming public servants. The British government set up the Indian Civil Service primarily with the objective of strengthening the British administration in the UK. In this period, the role of civil services was to further the British interest and the role was totally regulatory. Later on, they assumed developmental roles also. After the coming into force of the Constitution, the public services as we see today came into being. The civil service system is the backbone of the administrative machinery of the country. The civil service system in post-independent India was reorganized. At the central level, the central services include the All India services, namely the Indian Administrative Service, the Indian Forest Service and the Indian Police Service. There are various central services like the Indian Income Tax Service, Indian Railway Services, etc. There are 3 tiers of administration: union government, state government and local governments. The state government have their own set of services. The hallmarks of civil services in India include constitutional protection, political neutrality, permanency, anonymity and a recruitment based on merit, which is done by a constitutional authorities, that is the Public Service Commissions. Now, what are the problems with the administrative system? Number 1, we are following the British legacy. The regulatory administration is another thing. Development priorities not defined. It's purely a bureaucratic model. Lack of people's participation and non-inclusiveness is another problem. Ineffective and inefficient systems is another problem which needs to be taken care of. Now, what are the major developments which are impacting administration? Globalization, increasing disparities, transformation of the world into a global village, deregulation and privatization trends, increasing awareness about human rights, state formally interventionist, producer, regulator and seller, now called upon to be a facilitator, promoter and partner. Emergence of powerful technological solutions, that is computers and IT, and increasing expectations from government to perform are the major developments which are impacting administration. Now, why this administrative reform is necessary in countries like India? Administrative reform is a generic process permeating all phases of administration to create institutional capacity in the governmental system to undertake its task efficiently. Administrative reform is a process for creating enabling environment. It should be tuned to meet the challenges of development and globalization and should adjust to the changes in development strategy. It needs to adapt to the changing technology. Administrative reforms have been necessitated because of the change in the role of government, changing environment, rising aspirations of the people and improving efficiency and effectiveness. Several commissions and committees have gone into the subject and suggested various measures. Major reforms have been brought about based on the recommendations of these. Some of the important studies reports are as follows. Report on reorganization of the machinery of government, that is in 1949 by Mr. Gopalaswamy Iyengar. It recommended that the central ministries be bunched into bureaus. The Gaurawala Committee, appointed by the Planning Commission, it gave a general report on public administration. Paul H. Appleby, he submitted 2 reports on Indian administration. The ONM organization and the Indian Institute of Public Administration were set up as a result of its recommendations. The Committee on Prevention of Corruption was set up under the chairmanship of Mr. K. Santanam. The Central Vigilance Commission was set up on his recommendations. The first Administrative Reforms Commission, ARC, was set up in 1966. The ARC set up 20 study teams, 13 working groups, and 1 task force. It gave 20 reports, making a total of 581 recommendations in a period spread over from 1966 to 1970. The first Administrative Reforms Commission, it gave reports on the following subjects: machinery of Government of India and its procedure, personal administration, redress of citizens' grievances, center-state relations, state administration, administration of union territories, machinery for planning and economic administration, finance, accounts and audit, delegation of financial and administrative powers, railways, post and telegraph. Further, Committee on Recruitment Policy and Selection Methods, headed by D.S. Kothari, was set up in 1976. The Commission on Center-State Relations, that is the Sarkaria Commission, in 1983. The Fourth Central Pay Commission Report, 1986. The Committee to Review the Scheme of Civil Service Examinations, that is Satish Chandra Committee, in 1989. The Economic Administration Reforms Commission, the Fifth Pay Commission, 1993. Surendranath's Committee Report, 2003. The reforms agenda includes making administration accountable and citizen-friendly, that is simplification of procedures, ensuring transparency and access to information, that is Right to Information Act, decentralized governance and power to the people, that is 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Acts, effective and efficient delivery of services, that is e-governance, taking measures to cleanse and motivate civil services, that is the Civil Service Act. The Second Administrative Reforms Commission was constituted on 31st August 2005. The objective was to prepare a detailed blueprint for revamping the public administration system. The terms of reference included: the Commission inter alia considered the following: organizational structure of the Government of India, ethics and governance, refurbishing on personal administration, strengthening of financial management systems, steps to ensure effective administration at the state level, steps to ensure effective district administration, local self-government, Panchayati Raj institutions, social capital, trust and participative service delivery, citizen-centric administration, promoting e-governance, issues of federal polity, crisis management and public order. The final recommendations were submitted and the major areas were effective implementation of Right to Information Act, crisis management, public order, implementation of National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme and e-governance. Talking about the service delivery reforms, legal and administrative reforms for empowering citizens is what we call the service delivery reforms. Involvement of private players, basically to enhance operational efficiency, improving government citizens interface by use of IT and enabling service providers to do better. There are n number of success stories in India. To name a few: Bhoomi, that was the online registration and delivery of land records in Karnataka. Computer aided administration of registration department, that is CARD and e-Seva in Andhra Pradesh. District planning project in Uttar Pradesh, Gyandoot project in Madhya Pradesh, planning a land development project in Orissa, smart car driving license project in Gujarat. Usage in database management, that is e-banking sector, e-health, e-courts, e-education sector, agriculture, urban transport management, local government service delivery, disaster management, railways, etc. The 5 pillars of good governance are comprehensive electoral reforms, empowerment of local governments, instruments of accountability, speedy and efficient justice, and best practices identification and implementation. Therefore, the administration has tried to adjust to the requirements of the times with some successes. Yet, there are several problems, and unless these are addressed, it will adversely impact on growth. Forward-looking reforms needed in the bureaucracy, including police and judiciary, to meet the challenges of the international mobile capital and labour. Criminalization of politics needs to be dealt with. Regional disparities is major source of discontent, and this has to be dealt with. restructuring political, bureaucratic and judicial systems, and more effective decentralized planning for inclusive growth. Focus has to be given on human development essentials. And Second Administrative Reforms Commission has been appointed and given recommendations to go into the entire gamut of these issues. Thank you so much.